another Ant's perspective. In this episode, we will be talking about the bounce. Now, I'm not talking about the New Orleans bounce because y'all ain't ready for none of that. Y'all can't handle that. But what I'm talking about is the squat, bouncing in a hole and back out. I did a seminar up in Long Island, New York, and one of the attendees is also one of my followers on Instagram, and he asked me a question on Instagram the beginning of this week that am I still against the bounce and the squat? And I said yes, okay, because there is a difference between the stretch reflex and the bounce, and a lot of people don't understand the difference or know what a bounce is or know what the stretch reflex actually is. So with that being said, I'm gonna start off like this. I also teach sports performance. I've been teaching sports performance for years, and when I explain jumping and landing to my kids, I explain momentum, okay? So we using just the natural body weight. All right, so when we get ready to jump, we're using our arms and our whole body to generate gravity, to make ourselves heavy with gravity using momentum, okay? So we're gonna throw our arms down, upper body down, bend the legs, and when we're doing that, we're creating more force through the movement down, the momentum going down, creating more force of gravity when we get ready to push up. So when we do that, we're going down, and when we hit a certain point, we will not pause at the bottom and then jump. We're gonna go down with all our momentum going down, using that energy we have created, okay? And then we're gonna come right out of it, okay? Now, when we're going down, getting ready to jump, what we're doing is we're creating a loading phase, okay? And in that loading phase, as we're going down with our momentum and the gravity, okay, we're actually creating like a spring. We're gonna load that spring, and when we let that spring go, it's going out. It's because the muscles are still activated. And the way I kind of explain that is like a bouncing ball. So I have a bouncing ball, I'm gonna throw it down, and it's moving strictly off of my momentum and gravity, okay? And when it hits the ground, it's going to compress, okay? And then it's going to recoil back up, okay? So that's what a bounce is, okay? It's solely relying off of momentum, okay? And with that being said, when you have weights on your back, that is a dangerous thing. That is a very, very dangerous thing. You got to think about gravity and all that good stuff, and how much force that gravity potentially force and poundage that gravity create with that weight as speed comes along. So real quick, let's look at the definition for stretch reflex, and I'm gonna read this out to you because it's a pretty long definition. So here goes. It says stretch reflex. It is a muscle contraction in response to the stretching within the muscle. It is a monosomatic reflex which provides automatic regulation of skeletal muscle length. When the muscle lengthens, the muscle spindle is stretched and the nerve activity increase. This increase alpha motor neurons activities, causing the muscle fibers to contract and thus restrict the stretching, okay? A secondary set of neurons also causes the opposing muscles to relax, okay? So with that being said, what's actually happening when you have the stretch reflex, okay, is that all the muscles are working, okay? And when it is lengthened, the body is resisting on that muscle from stretching. So you have to be activated in order for the muscles have to be activated in order for the muscle to stretch and have that stretch reflex, okay? But if you're bouncing a ball, or if you're bouncing down in a hole, that means you're letting go, letting your body plop down along with the weight, and you have no muscle activity and you're going off of momentum. So with the stretch reflex, the body have to be activated, okay? So it have to be activated in order to have that actual stretch reflex, okay? In order for the body to restrict or resist against that stretch, okay? So you can come back up out of that hole, okay? So that's the difference between a bounce. That's the difference between a bounce and the stretch reflex. Is the bounce is solely going off of momentum, letting go, okay, with your body and the weight, okay, and then when you try to push up, is you're actually trying to activate the muscles when they weren't activated or stretched like they were supposed to be, okay? So let's look at the bounce. Where are we at when we bounce, when we let go and go ass to grass? Why am I against ass to grass? So think about this, okay? Don't you know how we're actually supposed to sit naturally? Okay, we're not supposed to sit in chairs, okay? This is very, very bad for us to sit in chairs. That's why we all fucked up and have no mobility. But our natural resting position, cooking position, cleaning position, defecating position is squatting all the way down, okay, where our hamstrings touch the back of our calves, okay? And a lot of people want to go ass to grass, but in that position, our muscles are no longer active. It's called hyperflexion, okay? So that's actually a relaxing position for us. So anytime you bounce or let go and go ass to grass, you're already in a position to relax, okay? So how many of y'all even thought about let me put it this way. How many people out there nowadays are so out Olympic lifting, okay, where they go front squats and they drop all the way down and they come up, or the squats go all the way ass to grass? How many of y'all actually looked at how long a shelf life of a Olympic lifter is? Okay, a lot of people say, oh, Olympic lifter this, Olympic lifter that, but have you really looked at their shelf life? Okay, their shelf life with knees and joints and things like that is crap. I mean, they don't have a long shelf life at all. I mean, the typical power lifter, you got like maybe 5 years, but usually Olympic lifter, it's not long, okay, by no means. Now you have your higher end that stay in the game a little bit more, but average, it's through the roof. So what's happening when you bouncing into that ass to grass or that hyperflexion? You actually opening up those knees where the muscles are not activated to even protect the joints or have the joints tightened up and ready to actually function off of coming out of that hole. So nobody even really think about that, but that's what happens in the bounce. Is you're going into a relaxation position or a hyperflexion position, trying to function out of it, okay, with weight on your back. So that's something you also want to think about. So the difference is that the body is activated while going into the movement, and the body is not activated while going into the movement. So when you're not activated going into movement, you will literally explode some shit. So that's going to actually touch on explosion. I haven't done my perspective on explosion just yet. I am a big advocate against explosion, but this just kind of touches on explosion. So any kind of relaxation, full relaxation in any kind of movement, especially with an inanimate object, you're looking for very, very, very high risk at injuries for injuries, okay? So that's my thoughts. You want to have an active body while going into the movement, and opposed to having a relaxed body going into the movement. That's what a bounce is. And I see a lot of people saying bounce where the words are powerful. When you say the word, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to let go and bounce into that hole, and then try to turn those muscles on out of nowhere, okay? And then try to allow momentum to take you up. Now it works to an extent, but you're never going to get your potential, and also you're going to be at high risk for injuries, okay? So therefore, with all that information saying, please don't bounce in the hole. please have an active body so you can go down, have that real stretch reflex, okay? And when you come up, all right, now the opposing muscle will relax, but the working muscle will be activated, okay? So that's my thoughts. I hope y'all got something out of this. So I'll see y'all next time. I'm out. Oh, real quick, just to let you know, if you're controlling the weight all the way down on the squat, but drop at the last minute, that's still a bounce. You're relaxing. Don't do it. Now hit that red button below.